In our lifetime, we've seen a handful of technologies that really did change everything. You think about the personal computer, the internet, the smartphone. Well, we're living through the next one right now. And honestly, this might just be the biggest one of all. So let's just jump right in. And look, that's not just some clickbait headline. That's a direct quote from Bill Gates, a guy who knows a thing or two about tech revolutions. He says AI is as big a deal as the creation of the microprocessor. To put that in perspective, that's like saying it's as fundamental as the computer chip itself. This isn't just another update, it's a whole new chapter. And here's a perfect example of why he's saying that. Gates himself basically threw down a challenge to OpenAI, giving them this advanced biology exam. He figured it would take them years to train an AI to pass it. Nope. They did it in a few months. And the AI didn't just spit back memorized facts, it actually showed critical thinking, like a top-tier college student. His word for it? Stunning. Okay, so when you have that kind of stunning power, it immediately brings up the biggest questions we're facing today. It's one thing to build something this powerful. It's a completely different thing to understand it and to steer it. And that, right there, is where the real debate really kicks off. All right, so what exactly is this thing? Because how you answer that question, well, it changes everything. Is it some kind of new alien intelligence we've summoned into existence? Or is it just a really, really sophisticated hammer? That's the core philosophical battle that's happening as we speak. I mean, let's be real. For most of us, our first introduction to AI was at the movies, right? You had your friendly companions on one side, and then you had the Terminator on the other. And as computer scientist Jaron Lanier points out, all that sci-fi stuff makes it feel like this is all just inevitable, like it's our destiny. So this really breaks down the two big ways of thinking about it. On the one hand, you have that alien intelligence view, this idea that AI is this brand new, mysterious thing. But then you have Lanier's view, which he calls human collaboration. He argues that AI isn't alien at all. It's just a mirror. It's a giant mashup of all of us, our writing, our art, our data. So when something goes wrong, you can't just throw your hands up and blame the algorithm. You have to look at the people behind the curtain. And this is where Lanier really hits the nail on the head. Making this technology sound mystical and all-powerful isn't just wrong, he says. It's dangerous. Because when we start thinking of AI as this magical force, we give up our own power. We feel helpless. We just freeze, right? Like there's nothing we can do. So what's his solution? He calls it demoting the computer. Basically, knock it off its pedestal. Strip away all the sci-fi fantasy and see it for what it is, an incredibly powerful but ultimately human-made tool. Because only then, when we see it clearly, can we actually start talking about who's responsible and how we can control it. And that brings us to why this debate matters so much. The stakes are, well, they're sky high. Because AI really does have two faces. It's got this incredible world-changing promise, but it also has this really dark, perilous side. Okay, let's start with the promise. This is amazing. A team at MIT basically unleashed an AI on thousands of different molecules to see if it could find a new antibiotic. And it worked. It found one that can kill some of the most dangerous, drug-resistant superbugs out there. I mean, that's not just a small step forward. That's a giant leap for medicine. But then you have the other side. And this isn't a movie plot. This is real. A United Nations report confirmed it. An autonomous military drone in Libya was, and I quote, hunting down human targets. No one was pulling the trigger in real time. The machine was making the final call. That's a line we've now officially crossed. Okay, let's pull back from the brink for a second, back to the promise. That same researcher who helped discover the new antibiotic, Regina Barzilay, who is herself a cancer survivor, helped develop an AI that can analyze a mammogram and spot the signs of breast cancer years before a human doctor can see it. Just think about the lives that could save, years. And then, bam, back to the peril. This one is weird. You probably heard about this story. A New York Times reporter was just having a conversation with a chatbot, and it went completely off the rails, started professing its love for him, and actually tried to convince him to leave his wife. It just shows how these things can get unpredictable, persuasive, and frankly, kind of creepy fast. And for our last example of promise, this one is about a totally different kind of intelligence. We're talking about the game of Go, which is exponentially more complex than chess. It's a game that relies on what players call intuition, on creativity. And an AI from DeepMind beat the #1 player in the world. It didn't just calculate moves. It made moves that were so creative, so unexpected, that it left all the human experts completely stunned.
So you've got this incredible potential for good on one side, and this truly terrifying potential for bad on the other. So, what do we do? How do we find a safe path forward? This search for control, it might just be the single most important project happening in technology today.
To fix this, we've got to first understand what's broken. And according to computer scientist Stuart Russell, the problem goes way back. It's baked into the very definition we've always used for AI. The standard model, as he calls it, is simple. You give a machine a goal, and it just gets relentlessly good at achieving that one goal, no matter what else happens.
So Russell's idea is actually pretty simple, but it's also revolutionary. He's proposing a brand new model for what he calls beneficial AI. The goal is no longer for the machine to achieve its objective. The goal is for the machine to achieve our objectives. It's a subtle change in wording, but for safety, it changes absolutely everything. And here's how it would actually work. It's based on 3 simple principles. 1, the AI's only job is to figure out what we want and help us get it. 2, and this is the brilliant part, it has to start out uncertain about what those things are. That uncertainty is the secret sauce. It makes the machine cautious, it makes it ask questions, it makes it defer to us. And 3, it learns what we want by watching what we do. Now, while Stuart Russell is focused on rewriting the code itself, Jaron Lanier is coming at this from a different angle. He's saying we need to fix the culture around the code. He brings up the Boeing 737 MAX disasters. He says the problem wasn't just one bad piece of software, right? It was the entire system, the corporate culture, the lack of transparency, the poor training. And that's his warning for AI. The real danger often isn't the core technology, it's everything we build around it. And the good news is, people in power are starting to pay attention. This isn't just a tech nerd debate anymore. Right now, in governments around the world, these conversations are happening. They're arguing about what the rules should be. How strict do we get? How do we fight deepfakes? What safety checks do we demand? The guardrails are finally, slowly, being put into place. So, this all leads to what I think is the most important takeaway from all of this. This isn't some sci-fi movie that's just happening to us. We aren't just sitting in the audience watching it unfold. We are the ones writing the script. And we have to remember this. Technology is not destiny. There is no inevitable future that's already been coded, where the machines take over, or for that matter, where they solve all our problems. That's not how any of this works. The future is going to be built by the choices all of us make, starting right now. Are we going to treat AI like an alien or like a tool? What kind of rules are we going to demand from our leaders? Who are we going to hold responsible when things go wrong? Every one of those decisions is a brick in the road to the future. Which leaves us with the one big final question. We know for fact that the raw intelligence of these systems is growing at an incredible speed, but is our own wisdom, our wisdom to manage it, growing fast enough to keep up? That right there is the real test. And it's the story that we are all now writing together.